Oh my God, it's my apartment. Yep. I think this is the debut of my apartment,
I
Ty.
was going to say this is a new thing because mine's always been behind us, but
Right.
can you explain what's going on in the background here?
Yeah, that's my living room. Because New York is fancy like, and I have dozens of square feet.
What's behind that door? What kind of craziness goes on behind that door?
Right back in here.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my bedroom, Ty.
Okay. Okay.
Uh,
Presented without commentary.
yeah, that's
Okay.
that's. I'm leaving that off limits because you're in your bedroom, so I'm letting that speak for itself. I'm gonna fix my hair a little bit. It looks all weird. Got a haircut. Ty, how are you? Welcome to the Solid Verbal.
That's right. And thank you. Thank you for welcoming me, and welcome to you as well.
Yeah.
I am doing well. This is episode 3
Yep.
now of our Q&A segment that we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we got questions on Facebook, a bunch of questions on Facebook actually, which we're going to go through here momentarily. Of course, we do our show every Sunday and Wednesday where we talk about actual college football. This is a little bit more loose leaf, a little bit more of a one-off where we talk about all sorts of different things, questions we get, whatnot. You make the overlays. We should add the little overlays in the bottom third.
I mean, we could both make them.
Right.
I happen to make them.
You're just better at making them.
Yeah.
Some may be true, others may not.
Do you know what the express times is?
There is an express times here in Lehigh Valley.
I knew that because I looked it up and I did my due diligence.
Yep. So whereabouts unknown for you, 91 through 96. You can do multiple pull-ups sometimes. And we knew about you playing quarterback, but can you do multiple pull-ups sometimes?
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay.
I feel like I could probably do it now. I haven't been lifting in a while. I know it might surprise the humans watching.
You don't want those guns to go off when you're wearing such a fancy suit.
True. What are you drinking tonight?
Tonight we're trying to kill the stash. Actually, I've got a ways to go, but we are drinking a Shock Top pumpkin wheat.
Ooh, fancy like. I'm drinking a 6-point Sweet Action can.
Okay.
Have you ever had 6-point Sweet Action?
I've had 6-point other point beers, but I've not had that one.
The Sweet Action?
Yeah, no, never had any Sweet Action. At least not from 6-point.
All right. I don't
this.
think anything has really changed dramatically in college football, and it doesn't matter because this isn't a regular episode. This is a Q&A.
Yeah.
First question comes to us from Mark Richardson. Having recently been heckled by LSU fans for wearing Oregon gear to their Bama game, what is your fondest memory of being heckled by other fans? Ty?
Yeah.
This gentleman wore Oregon gear to an LSU game and was heckled by Alabama to the Bama game. Guess what, Mark Richardson? You seem like a super nice guy, and we're happy to have you as a listener, but it is your fault. It is on you, because if you're going to a college football game and you are not wearing the apparel of either team, you're doing it wrong. If you don't want to wear the apparel of either team, that's fine. But to go to a game and be like, hey, guys, I like another team that's not playing, that's kind of dumb and unnecessary.
Yeah, so...
We've talked about this before.
Yeah, we've covered the third-party jersey thing. I have actually been on the receiving end of being heckled because I wore the opposing team's colors, the opposing logo, into a stadium where it was not welcome. So, like, I once wore, in another day and age, Notre Dame colors, Notre Dame jersey, into Beaver Stadium.
Right.
And now, that was the game where Notre Dame just got destroyed because they couldn't protect Jimmy Clausen.
I was there.
By about halftime, I ended up... Yeah, that might have been the game after...
2007.
After that game, we started emailing, and that was...
Formative game.
Sort of the inception of the Solid Verbal. But about halftime in that game was when I decided to turn my stuff inside out like Randy Quaid in Major League 2.
Right.
That was my only experience of actually getting heckled for wearing the opposing team's jersey.
All right, fair enough. This comes from... How would you pronounce this? Solius David Polteraditis?
I think it's Poltergeist.
Poltergeist, what are your thoughts on leaving early from a game? Acceptable at all times? Acceptable only when weather is a factor? Hello, Big Ten. Or even in a boat race, there is no excuse for leaving early from a game. Thoughts on leaving early? I should qualify this as you left consciousness early during the Notre Dame-Alabama National Championship game.
Yeah, and by early you mean like halfway
Way early.
Well, you know what? I'm going to defer to you. I have strong takes on this. I want to defer to you, though, because I know in the past when we've talked about things that we really care about when we go to a game in person. Like, you've got this checklist. You need the tailgating. You need, like, parking. I know parking is a big one for you. Where do you stand on traffic being a Southern California person? Is that something you want to beat when you're at the stadium?
Yeah, you want to. If it's a blowout, it depends on the game. If it's a Dodger game and there's 162 of them and you're tired and whatever, leave. The whole notion of being a good fan or a bad fan seems almost entirely overblown. Do what's best for you. If circumstances dictate that you need to leave early, you have to do what you have to do sometimes if it's a human issue. If it's sort of a person that you're there with being annoying and bored when there's a close game, do not leave early. Do not. If it is an exciting game, if you paid a lot of money for these tickets, do everything you can to get your happiness and money's worth. Beyond that, I don't adhere to any one hard fast rule. Do you?
No. I think if it's a bad game, I think if the weather's bad, I think if the traffic's going to be bad, if you've got the opportunity to go early, you go early. It's cut and dry for me. I have no problem leaving early.
Good. Agreed. Agreed. Yeah. This comes from Nathan. What do you consider your most important wardrobe item? I didn't know if he meant this in, like, grouping, like the most, like shirts, pants, jackets, shoes, or if it was one single item. How did you interpret this?
I interpreted it as...
I mean, you read it 2.5 minutes ago.
Yeah, 2.5 minutes, maybe 2.5 seconds ago.
So what is the single most important wardrobe group to you that you make sure that maybe you spend a little bit of extra money on, maybe a little extra consideration on? What is that group that you feel like can define you best?
Socks.
Whoa! What? That's insane, Ty. What are you kidding?
You can express your... Here's the deal. I work in corporate America.
But nobody sees your socks. I'm saying, what? That's the most important to you?
Maybe not the most important. Okay. It is one of the few items... Now listen to me. I see
okay, I'm hearing you out. I'm hearing you out.
Take a sip of that sweet action and just listen.
Sweet action.
In a corporate setting, socks are one of the articles of clothing you can use to adequately express yourself as a creative and futuristic and current person without being too much on the other side of the line.
Okay.
But I've chosen socks as my means of expression in corporate America. Yeah. So I have no problem going the extra mile, picking out a nice pair of socks, even when I'm home here. You know, not now, but
right.
You know, I'm not looking to express myself.
Let me see your socks right now.
Right now,
we got to give people a visual thing.
We've got. Can you see those?
Oh, they're sort of argyle-y, like old sweatery look. I like that look.
It's kind of like an old sweatery look. These are J. Crew socks.
This is what I'm working with.
These are their winter socks, Dan. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Socks.
Socks
are important.
I would say underrated. I wouldn't say most important. I would say shoes are important. But my number one is pants. Pants, I feel like you can make up for bad shoes, bad shirts, bad jackets, sweaters, sweatshirts, whatever. If you got a pair of pants that fit you, that fit your figure, ladies or fellas, you have what you have. Show it off. Whatever it is. Large, small, wide, tiny, whatever. Pants that fit. They should be of a relatively slim cut. That's my opinion. If you're a slim dude, wear slim pants. If you're a bigger dude, wear big pants that aren't big on you. Wear pants that fit.
I should have worn the yellow pants for this.
You absolutely should have.
Yeah,
all right.
Next time I'll do that.
Shoes also are underrated to me. But next question, Ray Parrish. Hypothetical, all SEC teams have 2 or more losses. There are 5 non-SEC one-loss teams. Does the SEC get shut out of the playoff? Does a 2-loss SEC team jump Oregon, Florida State, TCU, Baylor, or Ohio State? Ty.
Oh, good question.
It depends which 2-loss team it is. Because I don't think you can paint a wide swath because everybody's got different resumes.
I feel like you've got to keep the SEC in there in some form. And gosh, I can see the argument for the contrary, but do you honestly believe that the SEC should be shut out of this playoff with how good the SEC West has been? And it may not have been as good this season as advertised, which is something you said on the last show.
It was great in September. If there were a September, like even October trophy, I would definitely give it to the SEC West.
It's still very, very good, and it's still the best conference in America. So to shut them out, even if their conference champion has 2 losses, to me would be a grave injustice. I think you got to give the SEC at least 1 spot.
If Missouri wins the SEC, I'm going to say no.
Okay.
I'm going to say a 2-loss Missouri team does not jump Baylor or TCU or Florida State or Ohio State at 1 loss.
Because they lost to Indiana, right?
They lose to Indiana, and I believe they scored this many points against Georgia.
Yeah.
So 2 incredibly terrible losses, and even Georgia, if Georgia were to get into the SEC championship game and beat, say, Alabama or Mississippi State or whoever, Georgia's got 2 bad losses. South Carolina and Florida are not like excusable losses at this point when the margins are so slim all over the country. So I would imagine the playoff committee does not want to leave out the SEC. I would imagine ESPN and their interests would indicate that they don't want the SEC team to not make it. But I don't know how you defend an SEC East champ going to the playoff. I don't think there's an explanation, even though Georgia has sort of crept into the top 10.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this unequivocally. Georgia's not a top 10 team. They're not. That's okay, but they're not. Next question. Do you think Georgia's a top 10 team?
I do not know.
Those are real bad losses.
Not yet.
Okay, next question. This is actually one of our buddies. Brody Logan just got engaged.
Hey, congratulations.
Congratulations, Brody. He's of recently CBS Sports Network.
Yeah.
As someone who just got engaged, I'd like some advice on dealing with wedding vendors and not getting fleeced.
Oh, man.
Well, I would say this. Without somebody who has not been engaged,
right,
and who has not looked at wedding vendors at all, before I turn the table over to a much more reasoned answerer, you, it seems to me your wedding can be as expensive or inexpensive as a couple wants it to be. Sometimes a lady wants a more expensive one. Sometimes a lady wants a cheaper one. Sometimes a fella. Whatever the case, whatever the combination of humans and genders, one person wants expensive, one person wants cheap, inexpensive, that's a problem. Both people want to make it like low-key. You don't need to get fleeced. You just don't have to deal with them.
Well, yeah, and that's just it. I mean, when it comes to the wedding process, one of the things that I've had the hardest time dealing with is the fact that at no point, at no stage in this game do I have any leverage. I have no leverage. It doesn't matter what vendor you're working with.
Right.
If you tell them you're not willing to pay what they're charging, they'll say, sorry, someone else will. We ran into that with some of the reception that some of the other vendors we looked at, where you look at the price and it's just like, they're nice enough people sitting across the table.
They're business people.
They're business people, and this is what they do, and there's no way we can afford that. So I think, at least in my situation so far, we've had a lot of good luck with finding people who include other things, like our reception hall in particular. They'll include the cake, and they'll include a lot of little freebies that otherwise might cost you some money if you had to pick them up individually.
Sure.
So that sort of thing has really helped us out.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I think your advice is actually on point. Try to set a target for yourself. You're always going to blow the budget unless you're going to be super small with your ceremony. You're always going to blow through that budget, but I think if you come up with a few things up front where you're giving yourself the latitude to spend that money, you go over the budget, at least you'll feel like you spent the money in a way that was important to the couple.
Yeah, makes sense.
You don't have much leverage. There's no great way to deal with these people, but I think prioritization and somewhat of a loose budget is going to help you out up front.
I would say, keep in mind, the more traditional of a wedding you want, the more expensive it's going to be.
That is correct.
That, I would imagine, venue-wise, our dear friend Andy Wall threw one of the greatest weddings I've ever been to, and one of her really close friends, Brooke, made these maybe the best cupcakes I've ever had. They were like some sort of bourbon, dark chocolate, pretzel cupcake things that were like displayed in a beautiful thing. She made them. That may have been her gift to her, and it was as good as any wedding cake I've ever had, and it was a lot more personal. So the more traditional, the more of that sweet Skrilla, the more of that sweet action you're going to be paying. This next question from Breck Jones. Who's the luckiest team in college football? Also, have either of you ever been to the Grove before?
Dan, you've been to the Grove.
I have. and it's spectacularly fun and beautiful and amazing and should be on every college football fan's bucket list if he or she has not been. The Grove is terrific. Everybody's decked out in their Sunday best on Saturdays. Can't grill, which is a unique experience. I guess that'd be a positive way of spinning it. But all sorts of finger sandwiches and very sort of classy Southern tailgating. And the luckiest team this year, tied.
Gut reaction is Florida State, but it's not Florida State. Florida State's just really good.
Yeah.
Into some situations where you might look and say, oh, they got lucky, but they're actually really good in the second half. So they are unequivocally, that's not even a word, but they are not the answer to this question.
I do have an answer, by the way.
Yeah, please.
To me, this is going to sound, I hope it doesn't sound sour grapesy. The Arizona Wildcats have won on a Hail Mary against Cal. Their kicker was attempted to be frozen by Chris Peterson, missed a field goal, but he came back and hit another field goal because he was improperly frozen. Right. And this is not luck. They beat Oregon because of skill, and they deserve to win that game, but they did get Oregon, a beat-up Oregon team. So I think the combination of those things qualifies them for that category. Again, they threw the Hail Mary, they kicked the field goal, they beat Oregon, they earned those things, but those are factors that are somewhat mystical.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that
college football Jesus.
That's right. You could argue that TCU's had some lucky breaks here and there.
Yeah.
Still a really good, really well balanced team. So I don't feel comfortable labeling them as lucky. Had moments. I think if you look around college football, it's more a situation of teams with a few moments here and there.
I would say Notre Dame is lucky because they get to have you as a fan.
Next question.
Next question. This comes from... Ooh, I'm very excited for this one. Steve Brishke. Steve Brishke. What other normal foods, parenthetically, like Sloppy Joe's, which once again you call...
hamburger barbecue.
Hamburger barbecue. Does Mama H have special names for it? I would say not just Mama H, but Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
That Ty doesn't realize is a normal food with a normal name, or just a local specialty that that you don't think many would be familiar with outside of the Pennsylvania area. That was disgusting, and I apologize. Excuse me, Mom. Excuse me.
That was even more disgusting in a visual medium. Wow. We talked about hoagies.
I invited you into my home. This is what you get.
We talked about hoagies on the last show.
Hoagies, yeah, that's an alternate name.
You know, hoagie's a submarine, depending on where you're from. So hoagie is, I think, something that at least the terminology is unique to people or this part of the country. Wow. See, I didn't even know that hamburger barbecues weren't the correct terminology. So.
Well, no, it's the correct terminology where you are.
Yeah. Gosh. On the spot, that's too tough.
That's too tough?
I can't think of any off the top of my head.
What Italian dishes does Mama H make? What is the variety? What does it span?
Well, it spans all the way from things like ziti to things like gnocchi to, of course, the homemade pizza. To,
what is this pizza you speak of? What a weird word.
Yeah, I mean, she pretty much runs the full gamut.
Okay.
Italian food items. I mean, there are a lot of PA Dutch.
Yeah, what are those dishes?
You know, gosh, I'm drawing a blank, Dan. It's been a long day at work.
Is that pierogies? Are pierogies German?
They're pierogies. Yeah, I believe they're German.
Okay. All right. Why don't you think on this?
I'm going to think. I'll respond on the Facebook page.
Fair enough. What is Dan's, and this comes from Connor, what is Dan's most proud Oregon Duck memory?
Yes.
I'm assuming he means as an Oregon Duck fan.
Yeah.
I specifically remember two things. My first Oregon game at Autzen Stadium was a last-second field goal win, comeback win. Joey Harrington over USC. Jared Siegel kicked a long field goal to win that game. That was enormous. The second game where I remember the emotions being overwhelming. Not a fun game in the annals of college football to look back on. But that Oregon onside kick against Oklahoma game,
yeah,
that was really intense to watch as an Oregon fan. That was really, really. It was blocked kick. It was the onside recovery. It was the touchdown pass to Jason Williams. There was a lot of violent, loud emotion at the end of that game for me. That stands out.
I want to delve in a little bit more.
That was a year after I left, I believe.
Okay.
Delve into more, please.
I want to delve into a deeper study of the Dan Rubenstein Oregon experience, University of Oregon.
Hit me.
How would you characterize your 4 years in Eugene, Oregon?
It was
what kind of a student were you? Study a lot.
Oh, my time at Oregon? Okay. Broadly speaking, freshman year was pretty miserable. Got dumped cross country by my high school girlfriend. Not cool. So that put a wreck on things. It was also the 2001 Fiesta Bowl run, which was fun to go to the games. Didn't really go as much near the end of the season because I did not want to go to games in freezing cold rain and all sorts of awfulness outside. Was actually home in LA during the one loss, Stanford. Whew, bad loss. And was home in LA I did not go to the Fiesta Bowl. So I had a radio show that started freshman year that went into senior year called Morningwood. That's whose wedding I went to earlier this year in Boise. My co-host on that show, Tall Mike, original Ty, as he's come to be known, just up here. Right. And then sophomore and junior year lived with Mike, and then Mike and my friend Jeremiah. And there's not a lot of Jeremiahs in New York, but Pacific Northwest there are more Jeremiahs. It was a good time. I'm a classic late bloomer. I made more and more friends. Eventually got really close with West Coast Kevin and the group of journalism friends that I had. And that's when I'm trying to think. Yeah, senior year was a fun year. Senior year was a fun year.
So if
wasn't a huge drinker, wasn't a huge smoker. I don't know.
If you weren't going to go into broadcast journalism, what was the fallback for you?
Out of college, I got a job with DreamWorks at DreamWorks Animation, reading scripts and sort of summarize. I read a lot of animation scripts, got really bored, and that's how I eventually started the the College Football Tour Guide website. But the plan and the reason why I actually started the website was because I was told I was getting a writer's assistant job with The Office, the comedy on NBC. I wanted to be a comedy writer.
Oh, wow.
Wanted to be a comedy writer. Was told I got the job. They were just interviewing one more person, whatever. It was a formality. And then I was told I didn't get the job, which was essentially just taking notes for 18 hours a day and going on donut runs. Didn't get the job, but I was told I was going to get a job on a short-lived Andy Richter sitcom with, I think, the woman who played What's the mint or the gum commercial? The British blonde. It's like, ooh, clean.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she was supposed.
Yeah. I don't know her name.
I was just in a constant holding pattern. I was just like, screw this. I'm gonna and I started the College Football Tour Guide website. I did a little bit of temping around LA during the week to sort of pay the rent, and then Sports Illustrated hired me. So the actual plan, if this didn't work out, was to try and sort of worm my way up the comedy writing world. Which I'm very glad I did.
So let's say you quit your job, you end up doing this College Football Tour Guide website.
Yep.
What was the range of emotions in doing that? Was that something you were afraid of in the heat of the moment, not knowing where your next paycheck was going to come from? What was that experience like for young Dan Rubenstein?
It wasn't too bad because I lived with my parents for a few months after graduation, so I had some money saved up. At that point, I had moved in with West Coast Kevin and Illini fan Scott, and so I had money in the bank. My parents didn't really care. They were supportive and realized that if there were ever a time to follow a sort of take a chance, follow a dream, whatever, it was then. And the fact of the matter was, it was still like before that sort of recession screwed things up, where I knew I could probably get some sort of low entry-level Hollywood writing assistant job somewhere, and I wasn't too nervous about it. And LA is not nearly as expensive as it is in New York. That if you're out of a job and out of cash, like So, and my parents were there. I had a good fallback. So, luckily it didn't come to that.
Okay.
You ready for the next question?
This is good because this is a nice precursor. Well, I was going to say this is a nice precursor to our Wednesday show because last week you asked a bunch of questions about me, and tomorrow on the Facebook page I'm going to post. I'm going to post something to try and get some questions about you.
I'm an open book. Whatever you need to know. Next question.
Okay. Tomorrow on the Solid Verbal.
Tomorrow.
Yes.
Let's see. It's a two-sided question. I'm going to sort of paraphrase, not two-sided, but a double question from Gary Stange. I read this is Gary Strange, and I'm now really disappointed it's not. Gary Stange or Stange. Yeah. If you're listening to last week's show, I think we need to start a campaign to bring Thai to Madison. Here's a list of the flavors of malts they have at Mickey's Dairy Bar, which is the famous place we couldn't think of in the moment. Chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, cherry, butterscotch, banana, blueberry, mint, and coffee. What are your malt flavor power rankings? What would you order from that list? Chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, cherry, butterscotch, banana, blueberry, mint, and coffee.
I think my top 3 would probably be mint, followed by strawberry, followed by butterscotch.
Mint, strawberry, butterscotch. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, where do you go with that, Dan? There's some options there.
I would get a chocolate malt first. Chocolate, vanilla, then maybe blueberry. I'm a huge fan of bloobs. You like bloobs?
Okay. Sure.
Okay. Just making sure that we're both pro bloob. Second part of his question: if Will Muschamp does the impossible, beating Florida State, I believe at Florida State, it is at Florida State, what would be the most appropriate part of Florida State's stadium or campus to be renamed after Coach Boom in the way that I guess the Florida State field was renamed Coach Zook Field for like 6 hours? It would have to be the chalkboards or the whiteboards, right? That he like smash and sew.
I would think so.
The Muschamp boards. I would like that.
Are there like hand towels doused in sweat that we can rename?
Yes, hand towels. His and hers.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right. Jeremy Fisher. Have either of you ever been to a Jello wrestling event? Have either of you ever been to a rodeo? Have either of you ever made out with a clown with or without makeup? I don't think the clown one applies to me that I can think of.
No.
I've been to a rodeo a long time ago. Have you been to a rodeo?
Never been to a rodeo, no. I have been to a Jello wrestling event, though.
Real? I have not, and I don't find it to be all that attractive. Mud, oil, Jello, whatever. That seems very weird.
Oh, it's not attractive. No, it's not attractive.
Why did you go?
Hey, if you've ever been here and you were here once, you know that we need stuff to do. So the fact that there was Jello wrestling one night, oh yeah, we're all in on Jello wrestling.
Do you find, and I'm not trying to set you up and be weird about this. I mean, a little bit weird.
Yeah, go ahead.
The whole like ladies fighting thing, like cat fight, rare. That seems very strange, doesn't it? Like, to me, that is not erotic.
No, it's not.
That is not cute.
The whole thing about action. Yeah,
continue.
I mean, the whole thing about acts. If you've ever watched one in person, it's not like watching blood sport.
Right.
You know, it's like decidedly different in real life. Even the cat fights are very different in real life. It's just a lot of hair pulling, a lot of yelling, a lot of cursing. So no, it's not like an erotic thriller. It's sort of like why are you involved in this situation at all?
Right.
And more than anything, it's annoying, I think.
I agree. Next question. Dakota Moyer? Who are your top 4 teams for the playoff, and what type of sandwich, I like this, would you describe each of them as? Who are your top 4 teams right now? In order.
Yeah.
They're releasing the new rankings in like an hour and a half.
In order.
Or so, and I don't really care.
Yeah, in order I go Florida State, Alabama, Oregon, and we'll throw TCU in there.
All right, I'm going Alabama, Oregon, Florida State, Ohio State. How about that?
I like that.
Next question. This comes from Philippe. Yep. Explain extensively the process of a taco draft. I mentioned this.
Yeah, this is all you.
I'll briefly go over once again because I think it's that brilliant. You order a bunch of tacos. of meat varieties that everybody likes. This past weekend on Saturday night, we ordered. It came 3 to an order: 3 carne asada, 3 chorizo, 3 chicken, 3 carnitas. So 12 total tacos. 4 total orders, 12 tacos. 4 people. Everybody drew a number out of a hat, 1, 2, 3, 4, for a draft order, like a lottery. And the first overall pick gets the first choice of tacos. And we did a snake draft back and forth. In the end, everybody ends up with 3 tacos, and then you eat your team. So everybody wins. And I was very happy with my team of asada, carnitas, and chorizo. There was a run on asada the first 3 picks.
Yeah. How many college football coaches do you think, if given the opportunity, would eat their team in like a totally non-weird way, but just eat their team in order to like save themselves of like the last 3 weeks of the season?
I would lean SEC just because of the over-signing, and it's an easy way to get rid of excess scholarships that would allow you to sign 35 to 37 more players. So yeah, I could see a Saban, instead of going with the medical hardship cut, go with the eating of players. I don't know. Next. Do you fault Georgia's coaching staff for having Todd Gurley in late? Will Boise overtake Marshall in the group of 5 bid? Hard for me to see Boise overtaking, but they are a bigger brand, I guess, and they have what appears to be a fan base that's shown itself willing to travel to big bowl games. So I guess there is a possibility, but I believe Boise's lost twice. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah.
First part of the question, do you fault Georgia's coaching staff for playing Todd Gurley late? I kind of don't.
No, I don't, because he was out for a while. He was out for like 4 games.
Get his legs, get his reps.
It was a big game.
Yeah.
Have him in there, I don't think it's a bad move at all, even though they were up. I mean, I think if you're Georgia, you're probably thinking about the games coming forward. You want to make sure that he can shake off any rust, make sure that he's ready for some of these games. They could potentially be in the SEC championship if things break the right way. So, no, I don't fault anyone at all for having Gurley in late, and it's just one of those things when you play contact sports.
Yep.
There's always that risk of injury, and in his case, as a running back, there's an even greater risk of that ACL injury.
Yeah.
I don't fault anybody. It's just a bad situation, and it's really unfortunate for a really solid player.
Yeah, you don't play running back to not get hurt. I mean, that's just, it's inherent with it, and I understand that they were up big, but you want him to feel as comfortable as possible in huge games. Even though they're done with their SEC schedule, they still have Tech, and they still potentially have an SEC championship game, and you want him to be at full speed, and maybe he was a little bit out of shape from the time off. Who knows? I'm okay with it. You know, contact sport. You're absolutely right. Next question.
Yes.
Comes from our friend Miller from the Belk Bowl. After Clemson's loss, I have to use the Georgia Tech fight song as my alarm for an entire month thanks to a roommate bet. What fight song do you think would be the worst to wake up to? Ooh, we've got a couple answers for this. But what is your answer?
That is an outstanding bet, first and foremost.
That's great.
That is a great bet.
Yeah.
Even though the Michigan fight song is like iconic fight song, probably one of the best fight songs out there. Right. For me personally, rooting for now 2 teams that have to deal with Michigan every year. Granted, Michigan hasn't been at the top of the world, but still Michigan's got a long, proud history of college football. Michigan, to me, would be up there. The other one is clearly Rocky Top at Tennessee.
Really?
Here's why.
Okay.
I was younger. I went to a Notre Dame-Tennessee football game in Notre Dame Stadium with Mom. And it was a game that Tennessee won on like a last-second. God, I don't even know the year. I don't even remember the names of the players. But a last-second victory for Tennessee with a field goal. We sat directly next to the Tennessee marching band, and they played Rocky Top every 15 seconds. So for me, that's never really healed in my mind. It's still burned in there, and if I had to listen to that every single day waking up, that would be punishment worse than death.
To me, if I had to wake up to a song, if it's going to be bad, it'll get me out of bed. If it's upbeat and like, da-na-na-na-na, whoa, that at least gets me out of bed and ready. The USC fight song, That is a somber, oh god, I have to get out of bed. That is not making me get out of bed. I will also say the Oklahoma fight song. I think this is it. Is this it? I don't know. Or is it this one? They play this song so much that it would... That hurts me a little bit on the inside. That really just is a wrench on my gut. And how it's the same thing though with your Rocky Top. They play it so often.
I have a fun fact about another fight song.
What?
The Wisconsin fight song is actually
on Wisconsin.
Yeah, it's the same fight song as my high school, which was creatively named On Northampton. It's the exact same song.
Can I give you a fun fact, Ty?
Yeah.
I think On Wisconsin is every high school's fight song. I think it actually is. I've heard
I'd like to get the stats on that.
9 people have told me that it's their high school's fight song.
Okay.
I don't think we had a marching band that played a Calabasas High fight song. Maybe we did. I don't know. Next question. Ooh, fascinating question. This is from Jeffrey Hershey. What is Ty and Dan's favorite eating texture and or combination of eating textures? So what is the most pleasurable thing to chew and to feel orally?
This is a bizarre question, Dan.
I know it is. We have bizarre listeners, Ty. We've been doing this show for years and years. You should know this.
Wow.
So you're not a big sushi person because the texture is so important with sushi. That's why people like raw fish so much because it's very smooth.
Yeah. Oh, man. See, I feel like no matter what I answer here, people are going to make fun of me.
It's okay. It doesn't matter.
I don't care. It's fine. Gosh. You go first. I'm not a big foodie.
I know you're not, but that's okay. You like food.
Yeah, I do. Most of the time.
Okay, so one of the last truly great things I've eaten was the oyster roast from Cochon in New Orleans. And it was, you had the sort of slipperiness of the roasted oyster, and there was some sort of oil and spiciness in there, and there was some sort of crumbly cheese and garlic melted atop it. So it was the crispiness and sliminess. It's definitely combinations. There isn't any one thing. I think there are a few things that are as varied as maybe biting into a club sandwich. Sort of the crispiness and saltiness of the bacon, the smooth avocado, because I do get my club sandwich with avocado because I'm advanced, and the sort of saltiness, meatiness of the turkey with toasted bread. So that sort of crunch and smooth combo of a club sandwich, I would say, is pretty edible to me, pretty pleasurable. And I like sushi as well. A really good cut of fish, I think is great.
Okay. Broccoli and cheddar soup has an interesting consistency.
Really? The creaminess and crunchy of the brock.
That's an interesting combination. You mentioned a club sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
A good, crispy, well-toasted bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich.
Yeah, very similar, definitely.
I think is up there. I got to be honest. There are some questions for which I simply do not have an answer, and I believe this is one of them. I don't think much about the texture. I'm not a foodie. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I think you think about it in the back of your head. You don't realize how much, because there are certain foods that you must like because they going in. They're so good.
I mean,
you like grilled cheese?
It's been a long day at work. Not really. I'm not a huge bacon fan, to be honest.
Okay, that's fine. I'm trying to think of other sensations.
Yeah.
Some food sensations for you to ponder. Do you like fried?
By the way,
things?
We're working with a wicked delay here for people watching at home.
Oh yeah.
On their phone. We've got a wicked delay here, so it's difficult for us to converse in our normal sense. But
right.
Yeah, I mean, I like deep fried things. Sure, I like deep fried things, but I guess I just don't really pay it that much attention. I don't know.
What? Actually, you know what? Sunday night, people ask me where to eat in New York because of Easy Call a lot. If you're looking for a really good Italian place and you know you're going to be in New York and you have some time in advance to make a reservation, Lartusi. L''Artusi. It's in the West Village. It's an Italian place. Outstanding. Pastas, whatever. Fish, steak.
Okay.
They have a dessert, and I'm not a dessert person, Ty. They have a dessert that is a bourbon butterscotch bread pudding with like an apple compote and a scoop of ice cream. It made me feel things, Ty. It made me feel things. It was
What did you order for your entree?
Well, I went with the lady friend, who I don't think I've talked about on this show. I went with the lady friend.
Oh, okay.
We do the split thing a lot. If there are two dishes that we both want, did a sort of a braised pork shank pasta, like so it was some sort of like spaghetti-ish whatever, but it's all homemade pasta with like a slow braised pork and some vegetables in a sauce. It was peachy, I think, Pici. I don't know how you would pronounce that. So we split that, and then we split a bucatini with like pancetta and like a tomato sauce. That was outstanding. And then got a side of crispy potatoes and a side of like pecorino Brussels sprouts, roasted Brussels sprouts. Fan of everything enormously, but the dessert was special. I'm not a big dessert person. Bread pudding is maybe the dessert discovery of this last 5 years of my life. Amazing.
Okay. Well, that sounds delicious.
Yeah. So maybe I'll take you there Saturday night for your birthday. Final question.
Okay. Sounds good.
Final question. We're dealing with a delay here, but has Dan ever said a positive word about Michigan in his entire existence? I feel like I have. I picked Michigan over Notre Dame just because I'm an idiot, you see.
I picked Michigan over Notre Dame too.
We're dealing with like a 5-second delay now, right now, aren't we?
It's getting longer, yeah.
Yeah, no, I was counting in my head. That was about 5 seconds. I will say this about Michigan. Some of my favorite people in the universe went to Michigan. That includes, you ready, Ty?
Yes.
Oh, okay, that was only like a 2-second delay. A lady friend went to Michigan, so I've been trying to hold back on the Michigan naughtiness, Michigan bad words. And a lot of people in my office went to Michigan. Dr. Jane went to Michigan. So it's fun for me to make fun of Michigan. I would much rather see a competitive football team in Ann Arbor and more interesting Big Ten games. How about yourself, Ty?
I've said a lot of nice things about Michigan. To be honest with you, I fear Michigan when Notre Dame plays Michigan, when Penn State plays Michigan, when any team plays Michigan. I fear Michigan. Yeah, I mean, they haven't been the same over the last couple of years, but I still think it's a proud program. It's a ferocious program. I've been to Michigan. It's a great place to go and watch a football game. So I enjoyed my trip to Ann Arbor. I don't have anything nasty to say about them, and especially now when they're down, it's sort of hard to pile on. I think even Ohio State people are having a hard time piling on Michigan right now. So, no, I have nothing bad to say about Michigan. What I enjoy most have enjoyed over the last 3 years is the fact that we always have a reason to make fun of them if we want to.
Right.
And in our business, that's something very important because really that's all we do on a Sunday and Wednesday. And to know that Michigan's always there in the holster, if we need to use them, that to us is definitely a commodity. So I'm fine with Michigan.
Great sandwich town, Ann Arbor. Unbelievable. Top 3 college town for sandwiches. How about that?
Okay, so here's what we're going to do, Dan.
Yeah.
Because we're dealing with this horrible delay. Yeah, I'm out of questions too. Because we're with this horrible delay, I'm going to turn it over to you. And we are going to give our parting shots. You give your parting shot in one big block. Talk about whatever you want to talk about for the next 30 seconds. When you're done, I'll go. When I'm done, let's shut this thing off, and we'll try again next time.
Thank you to everybody for watching the Solid Verbal Q&A episode. A lot of fun questions. We'll be back next week to do more questions. Your questions are, of course, always fantastic. Can't wait to answer more. Of course, tune in to our regular shows on Wednesday and Sunday. Those are the audio-only variety, previewing and recapping the week. We've got a show coming up tomorrow. It's going to be really fun. And Ty is one of my favorite people ever.
Okay. Thank you, Dan. That was very nice of you. And you're one of my favorites as well here. My longtime co-host of the Solid Verbal for like 6 years now. I appreciate that. I'm going to be in New York this coming weekend for Lehigh Lafayette. It is going to be cold, but I'm going to be there. So if you're going to be in the vicinity or anything like that, send tweets. Maybe I'll bump into you. Let me know. It'll be a good time. Root on Lehigh. I'm still looking for a point show tomorrow evening. In the meantime, though, you know all the spots where you can get in touch with us. We're at solidverbal@gmail.com. We're on Twitter at solidverbal. We're at facebook.com/solidverbal. We've got a Google Plus now. We've got a Vine account that I've never posted anything to. One of these days we will. We started getting followers on it already. We've got a fan credit account. So we're all over the place. As Dan mentioned, we do a show on Sunday and Wednesday where we'll talk a little bit more college football and less about the nuances of everyday life in New York and Allentown, Pennsylvania. In the meantime, though, Daniel, I have nothing else, so I am going to say stay solid and wait 5 seconds for you to say peace.
Peace.